The most popular way to propagate goldenseal is through rhizome division, wherein you would cut a half-inch section out of the rhizome, and you're typically going to get probably 5 cuttings off of one rhizome, and it has to have a bud on it, and it has to have fiber roots coming out of it, and that'll grow the next year.
Go in there.
And there's the goldenseal root with the withered top right there. That's a pretty good looking one. It's not really large, but it's a medium-sized one, and you can, the rhizome is the knotty part, and that's another bud there. That's a scar from where the stem was. That's why they call it goldenseal. It actually makes a little seal-like depression where the stem was. That was actually a rhizome cutting originally, and it's actually grown quite well there. These fiber roots are long, okay? So I would take this, just bundle it like that, trim it off, okay? And then this becomes easier to work with because you don't have a big gangly root. Okay, rhizome propagation wise, you could probably get 4 to 5 off this one. I'm starting at the bottom of the rhizome, and I'm looking for growth buds, and I think I just found one. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm having trouble, so I'm just finding a bud, so I'm just going to cut this here at approximately a ½ inch. Okay, that's a nice fat rhizome there. That's definitely a mature plant there. So that's going to be, you know, not quite as big as your pinky, but it's, I would say goldenseal rhizomes don't really get a whole lot thicker than that. That's pretty much it there. And then I can cut this again right here, try and get a good ½ inch rhizome cutting, and that's a real nice chunk of rhizome. That's even bigger than the other one. So that's nice and healthy. But typically you might want to leave a little more rhizome in that, but I think that should be fine there. It should grow. And that's going to produce, that's a very large growth bud. You can compare that to a very tiny growth bud right there. There's the different sizes. This is a mature plant, and this is a fiber cutting. It's very young, but those are the different sizes of the different buds. The least popular and the most difficult is the fiber root propagation, where you would take the fiber roots, which can be up to 3 feet long, and cut them into 2 to 4 inch sections. And if you can find nodules on them, that's all the better. But in any case, you plant them all, you spread them out like spaghetti on a plate, really thin, put about 1 inch of soil, and it has to be really good soil. And it has to be an extremely shady location. That's probably the chief difficulty with fiber propagation, is finding the exact right kind of soil and to find the right environment where they can sit there, because they're going to remain dormant for maybe up to 1 year to 2 years before they actually germinate. Okay, this is an example of the plant. This came off of the mother plant, and it already had its growth bud. Although this could also illustrate what you're looking for in fiber root propagation. You can see how that root gets a little bit fatter there, and the reason that bud appeared is because there's a little growth nodule there. In fact, there may even be another little bud there. There's that little bump. So that's what you want to look for, is you want to look for fiber roots that have thickness on them and little bumps and nodules. Or you could just plant them all. Cover them with 1 inch of soil, really mellow soil. It has to be extremely rich soil, and they can't be allowed to dry out, because it's going to take 1 year to 2 for a lot of these to actually sprout the plants. So the seedlings take longer. The rhizome definitely grows faster. The rhizome propagation produces a plant much quicker. And that's the reason it's the most traditional method, is because you get results quicker. And the fiber propagation is very slow and tricky.